Hello, and welcome home to the Church of BL. I'm Saint Peachie, your patron saint of the problematic, here with Patient S Remedy, one of my favorite visual novels in existence. My brain has been stuck in CitrusCon mode for months now, so I haven't been able to upload that much. So I'm trying to get back into it, and the way that I have decided to get back into it is to play one of my favorite visual novels, which is this one. I'm going to make you go into this completely fucking blind if you don't know what Patient S is. That is the best way to do it. I will give you some content warnings though. Slight non-con. Slight. Not all over the place. I feel like consent is pretty okay-ish in this game, to be quite fucking honest, which is surprising because this game is made by the same person who made Haruka Shichuji, and if you know anything about Haruka, consent is not key in Haruka. The way I like to compare these, Haruka and Patient S are both made by somebody named Togomito, and he is a precious baby angel who really likes to write sadists. Haruka is a non-con sadist, and Patient S is a more consensual, sweet pea baby angel sadist, because those do exist, and there's one in this game. As the patron saint of the problematic, it should surprise. Oh my god, I can talk. It should surprise no one that this is my ish. So, you know, it is what it is. Did I have anything else to say before I hop in? This game is absurdly spicy. Very, 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 very spicy. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to censor that for YouTube, which hopefully will end up being funny. If you would like to see the spicy scenes, you have two options. You can either hop in my Discord, where I will occasionally stream while I'm recording for YouTube, and you can catch all the spicy stuff then. Or you can sign up for my Patreon. All of my uncensored content is posted to my Patreon. You also get early uploads and some other fancy stuff in my Discord. So I will put QR codes on the screen if you would like to sign up for those things. Or you can see my link tree at the bottom. If you just want to go to my link tree, there are links there for you to boop. But yeah, I'm just gonna hop into this bitch. I completely lost my train of thought. ADHD is fantastic. Oh, I did a survey in my server a while back, good while back, about whether I should read the dialogue after the voice actors speak or not. And the consensus was to read all of the dialogue and just read stuff after the voice actors. I am not a voice actor, so I'm not going to sound as precious and perfect as they do, but you know, it is what it is. So hopefully I'm not annoying. But yeah, let's just hop right into this bitch. Excuse me coughing every 15 seconds. Oh my god. Huh? What was I doing again? My mind. Oh my god. My mind is in a fog. Where am I?
Oi, Sota, 大丈夫か?
Hey, Sota, are you okay? And it's Steve from Blue's Clues. I cannot unsee it. Holy shit. But it's very buff Steve. Very, very buff Steve. I saw an all too familiar face when I opened my eyes.
Oh, Masaomi?
Oh, Masaomi?
I completely forgot to
じゃないよ、
read that.
全く。もう本当にこの辺にしとけ。あ、ほら、水飲め。
Jeez, don't give me that. Let's call it a night, okay? Here, drink some water. Glug glug. Thanks. I drank down the contents of the glass he handed to me. My mind began to clear as the water quenched my parched throat. Ugh, he was right. I was in pretty bad shape. I really had passed out for a bit back there. I checked everything in front of me while I got my brain running again. There was a half-eaten fried egg and a salad on the table. Man, the karaage was already gone. I wanted some. The noise around us consisted of the yelling of loud drunks and the manager's constant and barely comprehensible welcome and thank you. It was a typical night at Izakaya Banchan. Yep, my brain was working now. Everything was okay. They were having some kind of Nagita sake fair, so I was like, let's make our way through the whole list, and had ordered one right after another. I didn't think it was a lot, but boy did I get carried away.
そろそろお開きにして帰った方がいいな。
I think we should call it a night and head home.
大丈夫大丈夫。水飲んだら落ち着いた。でもまあ、あとはウーロン茶にしとく。あと俺、唐揚げ一個も食えてないんだけど、残しとけよ。
I love his voice actor. He's fucking perfect. Oh my god. Nah, I'm fine. Really. I'm good now that I've had some water. Well, maybe I should have had some... Whoa. Maybe I should have had some oolong next. And also, I didn't get to have any karaage. You should have left me some.
今日お前本当に様子おかしいからな。顔赤くなってないの自覚ないだろう。顔面蒼白だぞ。鏡見てこいよ。
You've been acting really weird today. Your face isn't even red, you know. You're totally pale. Go look in a mirror.
大丈夫だってば。
I'm telling you, I'm fine.
もうやばくなったらすぐ言えよ。またおぶって帰るの俺嫌だからな。
Well, let me know when it gets to be too much, okay? I don't want to have to carry you home on my back again.
あ、すいません。ウーロン茶と唐揚げとお水6個もらえますか。
That is a lot of water. Oh, waiter, could we get some oolong tea, karaage, and 6 glasses of water? This was my childhood friend, Masaomi Mori. Our homes were only a 5-minute walk away from each other, so we had been together for as long as I could remember.
ああ、あとレモンチューハイ一つ。
Oh, and a lemon chuhai, please.
まだ飲むんだ。俺結構限界よ。
You're still gonna drink? I've reached my limit.
すいません。明太もちピタも追加で。
Hey, waiter, I'll take a mentaiko pizza, too. I don't know, two? I don't know what that was. Sitting in front of us was the trio of idiots we've been hanging out with since middle school. Zono, Hachi, and Fukuchan. Huh? Okay. I'd admit it. It was actually a quartet of idiots. Zono, Hachi, Fukuchan, and Sota. Even Masaomi was an idiot around us, which was why I couldn't understand why all the adults had always been convinced that it was Masaomi plus the 4 idiots.
そうたくん、大丈夫？
Are you okay, Sota? Sitting next to me was my girlfriend, Kanon, who was looking at me with a worried look on her face.
お、
yeah.
飲み会で寝落ちるなんて今までなかったのに。飲みすぎだよ。まあ。
You've never dozed off during drinks before. You must have really gone overboard. Kanon rubbed... Kanon? I don't know Japanese. Rubbed my back the way that you'd comfort, or maybe scold, a child. Kanon's chest heaved as she slouched forward. Soft, voluptuous breasts formed her cleavage. It was actually a pretty good view, I thought. It was love at first sight with these breasts 3 minutes ago? 3 months ago during a drinking party, and we'd been dating since. It wasn't just her chest, of course. Her face, which was somewhere between cute and sexy, was also my type. With liquid courage on my side, I chatted her up, and then we headed straight for a hotel. Super classy. Our relationship may have started physically, but she was nice, had a great personality, and was always down for a good time. Plus, we had a lot in common, too. Best of all, our lower halves were completely compatible. So much so, in fact, that I broke it off with all my other fuck buddies. It was unusual for me to be satisfied in a long-term relationship with one woman.
そうた大丈夫か？お前酒弱くなった？
Are you okay, Sota? Can't you hold your alcohol anymore?
夏バテかもね。あ、知ってた？夏バテって真夏になるんじゃなくて夏の終わりとか秋に言うんだって。つまりまさに今頃ね。
Maybe it's heat exhaustion. Oh, did you know? Heat exhaustion doesn't usually happen in the middle of summer, but at the end. So, fall, like now.
ふくちゃん、それで思い出した。俺誕生日近いんだけど、誰か祝って。
Oh my god. You've just reminded me, Fuka-chan. My birthday was a little while ago. Somebody wish me happy birthday.
そうなんだ。いついつ？
Well, really? When was it?
14日前。
14 days ago.
おめで。微妙すぎない？近いかな。いや、でもおめでとう。
Wow, happy... wait, that's not right. Is that even considered a little while ago? Well, happy birthday.
ありがとう。
Thanks.
カノンちゃん、これこいつの持ちネタだから言わなくていいよ。来月になったら40何日前って言い出すから。
Don't listen to him, Canon. That's just his usual joke. Next month he'll say it was 40-something days ago. Seriously? How many times have I heard that joke already? Either way, these routine scenes were about to become much less frequent.
こうやってパッと集まれんのも今年が最後になんのかな。
And just like that, this will be our last year getting together like this. I sighed, leaning against the wall. I really must have been drunk.
どうしたどうした？ソータが寂しんぼモードだ。
What's that now? Sota's in a sad drunk mode?
違うし、せめてしみじみって言って。大学卒業して就職したら自由度減るだろうなって。俺らがサラリーマンって想像つかないけど。
It's not like that. I might as well say it. I was just thinking that once we graduate from college and find jobs, we'll have a lot less free time. I can't see us anything other than salarymen, though.
別に俺らならいつでも集まれるっしょ。
I'm sure we'll still be able to hang out any old time.
ソータはコピー機とかリースする会社に内定決まってるんだっけ？
You've pretty much decided on the company that leases copiers and stuff, right?
ないないてね。正直何も知識なさすぎて務まる気がしない。
Kinda. Honestly, I'm not sure I'm smart enough to work there.
だからうちに就職すればよかったのに。
That's why you should come work at my place.
だからそれ、自転車もバイクもさらにもっと詳しくないから。っていうか、一番問題なのはお前が本気でそれ言ってるところだからな。
That's not any better. I know even less about bikes and motorcycles. Actually, my biggest issue is how serious you are about that.
本気だから言ってるんだけど。
Huh? But I am serious.
それに、おじさんが欲しいのは俺じゃなくてさくらでしょ。看板娘が欲しいって。
Besides, your dad would rather have Sakura over there. He said he wanted a cute shop girl. My back felt unusually cold. It wasn't from the wall I was leaning against either. I could feel the color draining from my face. The tips of my fingers felt numb. Oh, this wasn't good.
そうた
そうたくん大丈夫？
Hmm? You good, Sota? Suddenly I felt a strange sensation, as if I were sinking into the wall or like gravity had disappeared. After that, I was hit with intense nausea. I immediately covered my mouth. I couldn't throw up here.
そうたマジか
Sota? Seriously?
おお大丈夫か
Whoa, are you okay?
あ待って待って頑張れよトイレでな慌てず急げ
Hey, hang in there. Go to the bathroom. Don't panic, but hurry.
そうた立てるか
Can you stand, Sota? I could stand. I was okay. I'd throw up in the bathroom, of course. Nothing was actually coming up yet. My mind was clear. I could totally make it. I was fine. Still, this was clearly different from any usual kind of nausea. What the hell was this? I could see Kenon panicking from behind a film of tears. Shit, how lame could I be? Why did it have to be on a day Kenon was here? Even though I was already pretty pathetic, I managed to force the last bit of pride I had remaining to show it on my face. Masaomi went to hold me up. I told him I was fine and tried to stop him, but suddenly, the world turned over.
そうたそうた
Wee woo, wee woo. A noise from somewhere pulled me out of a deep sleep. I was greeted by an unfamiliar white ceiling. When I opened my eyes, all that really happened. Whoa. I was greeted by an unfamiliar ceiling when I opened my eyes. All of that really happened then. I didn't recognize the room, but I could tell that I was in a hospital at least. White sheets, white curtains. The room definitely felt like one you'd see in a hospital drama. The most obvious clue was the IV needle in my arm. I must have been admitted into emergency services. Clearly, whatever treatment they gave me had done the trick. I felt like my old self again. Actually, I woke up feeling better than ever. I must have slept through the whole thing. The sun was already up. What time was it anyway? I could hear hasty footsteps, the sound of rolling carts and cheerful voices near and far saying, "Good morning," from behind the Patreon? What? The Parisian. What hospital was this? The closest one would have been Shirayama Central Hospital. I vaguely remembered collapsing at Bonchan last night and being taken away in an ambulance. I felt nauseous, out of breath, and was covered in sweat, even though I was freezing. I kind of figured Kanon would panic, but I was surprised to see someone as reliable as Masaomi get so flustered. It was the three idiots that had remained calm. The voice I heard calling for an ambulance was probably Fuku-chan. I was grateful for his quick thinking. Well, should I keep sleeping? Should I tell someone I'm awake? What should I do?
おはようございます。起きてますか？体調はどうですか？
Good morning. Are you awake now? How are you feeling? As if in response to my confusion, the Parisian curtain opened with an impeccable timing. Partition? Parisian.
起きてます。もう元気です。
I swear to God I know how to read. Gah, I'm awake. I feel great.
ああ、そのまま横になってていいですから。お名前をフルネームで言ってください。
Oh, you can lie back down. Could you tell me your full name?
佐々木聡太です。
Sasaki Sota.
はい、佐々木聡太さん。気分が悪いとか、どこか痛いとかありますか？
Good. So, Mr. Sasaki Sota, do you feel ill at all? Are you in any pain?
いえ、全然。めちゃくちゃすっきりしてます。
No, none at all. It's like I've been revived from the dead.
よかった。あ、医師の朝倉です。昨べたまたま当直でいたからそのまま見させてもらってます。今いろいろ説明しても大丈夫かな？
That's good. Oh, I'm Dr. Asakura. I happened to be on duty last night, so I was the one who treated you. Is it all right if I talk to you about it right now?
大丈夫です。お願いします。
Sure, go ahead.
佐々木さんは昨べ救急車で搬送されてきました。覚えてますか？
You were brought to the hospital last night by ambulance. Do you remember that?
なんとなくは。
Kinda, sorta.
脱水症状が見られたので点滴で水分を補う処置をしました。いわゆる急性アルコール中毒で間違いないと思います。
It looked like you were dehydrated, so we treated you with an IV drip. I figured it was alcohol poisoning.
はい。反省してます。
Yeah, sorry about that.
救急車にはお友達が付き添いで乗ってきたみたいだね。毛利正臣さん。
I heard one of your friends went with you in the ambulance. Let's see, Masamori? Oh my god. Masaomi Mori, I believe.
彼がご家族に連絡してお母様が一度お見舞いと手続きに来てくれたよ。
He called your family, and your mother came to see you to fill out the paperwork.
え、マジっすか？夜中にってことですよね。それは全然覚えてないっす。
What? Really? In the middle of the night, too? I don't remember any of that. Ugh, sorry, Masaomi. Sorry, Mom.
うん、時間も遅かったし、その頃には症状も随分落ち着いて眠っていたから、次の日に改めて来ていただくようにお願いしました。
Yeah, it was late, and you seemed a lot better by then, so I asked them to come by tomorrow to see you.
通常の面会時間は8時半からなので、その時に荷物とか届けに来るとのことです。
Normal visiting hours start at 8:30, so you should have someone bring you an overnight bag after them.
はーい。
Okay.
念のため血液検査をして何事もなければ今日のうちに退院ということで。心配しなくても僕の経験上何もないとは思ってます。
We'll run some blood tests just to be sure, but as long as they're normal, you'll be out of here today. Don't worry though, as far as I can tell, you've got nothing to worry about. Great.
じゃあ採血します。右手にしようか。
Well, let's take some blood. Let's go with your right arm, shall we? I had the IV in my left arm. I figured that was why. I did as he said and held out my right arm.
親指を中にして拳ギュッと握って。
Hold your thumb in a fist. He wrapped something around my arm, wiped something on it, and
ちょっ
then
とチクッとするよ。
you'll feel a little prick. I didn't want to watch him stab me. Jab.
力抜いていいよ。
You
はい、
can
終
relax
わり。
now. Oh.
このまま5分くらい押さえててください。
Okay, done. You should start lying down for about 5 minutes. You should start lying down? You should stay lying down. Am I drunk? Why can't I read today?
ところで先生、夕べからってもしかして寝てないんすか？
By the way, dog, have you not slept at all since last night?
ん？ちょっと寝たよ。この後帰ってまた寝るよ。佐々木さんは自分の心配するように。
I slept a bit. I'll be going home to sleep after this, but you should worry about yourself, Mr. Sasaki.
はーい。
Right. He said his name was Dr. Asakura. He seemed nice. Maybe that was just because he was young and easy to talk to, but his cheerful demeanor made him seem dependable without being overly friendly. He was refreshingly manly, which probably made him a pretty popular doctor. Apparently, those depictions of doctors you see on TV weren't completely fictional. The fact that he was going home after this must have meant that there was nothing seriously wrong with me and I wouldn't need to be under strict observation, which was definitely a relief. I thought my first experience of a hospital stay would be exciting, but after I realized there was nothing to do, I got bored pretty quickly. I had spent most of my life avoiding hospitals. I had gone in for vaccines and physicals, but that was about it. I'd never been seriously injured or had any cavities before. I could barely remember ever catching a cold either. That was why I thought suddenly finding myself in a hospital would be a pretty big deal and much more exciting. It'd be one thing if I was actually super sick, but I felt surprisingly fine, healthy even, completely full of energy. And that was why I was so bored. I had all this time on my hands and it sucked, and I wanted to go home as soon as possible. I noticed there was a pamphlet nearby, so I looked it over, but this was Shiroyama Central Hospital, which meant it was in my neighborhood and just made me want to go home even more. Afterwards, my mom came during visiting hours to bring me some things, like Dr. Asakura had said. She had packed my worn-out sports bag from high school with stuff that I'd need for an overnight stay, like a towel and a change of clothes. It seemed like I'd only be here for the day, so I didn't think I'd need to use any of it. It felt like my mom was more annoyed than worried. It was during times like this that my mom knew how regretful I was, so she wouldn't even bother to lecture me. She could tell I didn't want anyone to fuss over me. I was already feeling a lot better, so all she did was laugh a bit before heading back home. Kenon and the three idiots sent me a bunch of worried texts throughout the night, even though I thought Masaomi had given them a rundown of the events, so I let them know it was nothing to worry about with my apologies and thanks. I also let them know that they didn't need to come and see me. The problem was her. I had just got a message from Sakura letting me know that she was heading back from school and would be coming to see me. I'd be out of here in no time, so there was no point in visiting. I had a feeling she'd lose it if she saw me in a hospital bed, which was the last thing I wanted. I heard an out-of-place sound of boots hitting the ground alongside a high-pitched voice.
Sakura, shh!
心配したんだから。
I was so worried. Sakura began to sob.
この通り大丈夫だから大したことないって母さん言ってなかった？
Hey now, as you can see, I'm perfectly fine. Didn't Mom tell you that it was nothing?
言ってたけど入院だよ。大したことあるよ。倒れたって聞いて本当にびっくりしたんだからね。
She did, but you're in the hospital. It must be serious. I was super shocked to hear that you'd passed out.
だからさくら、声でかい。寝てる人もいるから。
Listen, Sakura, you're being loud. There are people trying to sleep.
お兄ちゃん、元気でよかった。
I'm so glad you're okay. This might be weird for me to say, but Sakura was a bit obsessed with me.
なんかお医者さんは今日中に退院って言ってたから、マジで大したことないよ。急性アル中だって。だから今はアルコール抜けて元に戻った。
The doctor said I should be out of here today, so it's nothing, really. He said it was acute alcohol poisoning. Now that it's out of my system, I'm back to normal. I said while patting Sakura on the head to get her to stop crying. Her expression immediately changed.
もう酔っ払い本当ありえない。反省してよね。ちゃんとみんなにごめんなさいするんだよ。
Jeez, you really are a hopeless drunk. You better be sorry. Make sure to apologize to everyone, too. Ugh, great. She was at that age where she wanted to act like she was the older sibling at the worst times, even though she was normally the epitome of a spoiled little sister. Well, it was true that I had worried her. Her constantly changing expressions left me exhausted, but I still loved my amusing little sister.
反省してます。
Sorry.
特にマサ兄には感謝しなくちゃね。
You better thank Masani, too.
そうね。正臣がうちに連絡してくれたんだって。
Yeah, he was the one who called you guys, right?
母さんの携帯に連絡来たって。状況説明が超わかりやすくて、何が必要かとかすごい的確で助かったって言ってた。
Yep, he called Mom on her cell. He explained everything to her in a way that was really easy to understand. His thoughtfulness was super helpful, thoroughness was super helpful, and he offered to bring us anything that we might need.
さすが正海。
That's Masaomi for you. I saw him panic, but it must have been only for a second. He was probably also the one who gathered up all my stuff that was scattered over the floor at Bonchon.
マサ兄も学校終わったら一応顔見に来るって言ってたよ。
Masani said that he'd come see you once his classes were over.
来なくていいって言ったのに。
What? I told him he didn't have to come, though.
マサ兄が来るまでここにいよっかな。
Maybe I'll hang out here until he arrives.
いいから帰んな。正海にも来なくていいって送るし。あ、晩飯誘えば？
It's fine. Go home. Tell Masaomi he doesn't have to come here either. Oh, why don't we invite him over for dinner?
そうしてっていうかそうする。今日ね、お兄ちゃん夕飯には帰ってくると思ってすき焼きなんだよ。
Yeah, let's do that. I figured you'd be home for dinner, so we're having sukiyaki.
マジか。いいね。
Really? Awesome. Mom must have been planning to have Masaomi over to thank him, too. But as it turned out, unfortunately, I didn't get to eat any sukiyaki. I should have been able to leave the hospital yesterday, but they didn't let me go home after all. According to my blood test, my liver function was damaged, so they put some kind of medicine into my IV and kept me for observation, and ended up having to spend another day in the hospital. I felt totally fine though. Still, they do say the liver is a silent organ. Dr. Asakura kept saying just in case, so it really must have been nothing that serious. I figured I might as well enjoy this valuable hospital experience. I was very bored, but at the same time saying I have nothing to do and I shouldn't be doing anything was actually refreshing. They drew blood again first thing in the morning, then my mom came to visit to bring me a change of underwear. Good thing I brought you that overnight bag, she said nonchalantly, and then she went home. She was busy with work, so I felt bad. Thanks, Mom. I was really bored. I stretched out on the bed as I stared out into the window. The sunlight felt kind of nice, so I couldn't help but turn my face towards it. I must have been a sunflower in a past life. There were countless long strips of clouds in the sky.
佐々木さん、いいですか？
Mr. Sasaki, do you have a moment? Suddenly, I heard Dr. Asakura from behind the curtain.
気持ち悪いとか、どこか痛いとか、変だなって思うところありますか？
Do you feel ill at all? Are you in pain anywhere, or does anything feel off to you?
なんもないです。
Not at all.
正直、血液検査の数値があまり良くないです。
Honestly, your blood test numbers aren't so good.
え？
Eh?
詳しいことはしっかり検査しないと何とも言えないので、これから検査しに行ってもらいます。
I can't get into specifics until after I've done more research, so we'll be running more tests.
何がどうだったんですか？
Eh? What's going on?
肝臓の炎症を示す数値がかなり高く出てます。詳しくは検査しないとわかりません。看護師さんについていってくださいね。
The numbers indicating inflammation of the liver are alarmingly high. We won't know for sure until we've run more tests. Please follow this nurse for now. What the hell was going on? Now I wanted them to run as many tests as they could. I'd do whatever it took for them to tell me it was nothing. Well, that was a storm of firsts for me. I went through a parade of tests, x-rays, an EKG, a CT scan, an MRI, and some other stuff I couldn't remember. What surprised me the most was that they didn't just take my urine, they even took my semen. Uh-huh. There was no way I could jack off in the bathroom without any porn just because they asked me to, or so I thought. It was actually surprisingly easy. God damn it, Soda. Masturbating? What the fuck? Masturbating out of a vague sense of obligation just left me feeling more frustrated. I wanted to fuck.
Sasaki-san!
Sasaki? Dr. Asakura came running into the room. His look of panic made my eyes go wide for a moment. What is it?
ちょっと失礼しますね。
Sorry about this. He suddenly jerked my shirt up and pressed his stethoscope against my stomach. Contrary to the doctor's fervor, it felt cold against my skin. He pressed his fingers under my eyes. It was enough pressure to hurt a little. Dr. Asakura was hardly acting normal as he examined me closely all over. Huh? What's going on? He was really starting to scare me.
動機正常。熱なし。横断なし。
Your heartbeat is
おかしいな。
normal. You don't have a fever. No signs of jaundice. How strange. Dr. Asakura tilted his head.
気持ち悪いとか、体のどこかが痛いとか、何か変な感じがするとか、本当にないですか？
You really don't feel ill at all. No pain anywhere. Nothing feels off to you.
はい、マジでなんもないっす。
Yeah, seriously, I'm fine.
そうですか。ああ、すみません。他の先生と相談してきますから、安静にしててください。
I see. Sorry. I'm going to consult with another doctor. Please try not to worry. Dr. Asakura left looking perplexed. In the end, the doctor didn't come back with any explanation, even after I finished my dinner. Afterwards, going through test after test became my daily routine. They had taken so much blood from me that it was starting to leave marks. Still, no one could tell me what was wrong, and Dr. Asakura just continued to look more and more confused after every examination. I heard nothing other than "don't worry" and "we'll know more soon" as my days at the hospital went by. I was basically under house arrest. Hospital food was gross, and watching TV cost money. I was so incredibly bored. I didn't think I'd be here this long, so whenever I asked him, Masaomi would come to talk to me. Sakura would drop by whenever I asked or not. My parents were busy with work, so I told them they didn't have to come. It would have been different if I was actually sick, but I was perfectly fine. I still had no idea why I was in the hospital, and the stress of all the idle free time was starting to weigh on me. I thought about sneaking out. Eventually, I was moved from the large shared room to a private room of my own. When the nurse arrived, I thought I was finally being released, but I was just being moved to another room, so my excitement was short-lived. Well, this was more comfortable than a shared room. Wouldn't it be easier to escape from a private room anyway? I was reaching my limit, and that thought was becoming more and more tempting. More than anything else, I just needed a break from the monotony. My wish ended up coming true in a surprising way. Something seemed off. The staffers that brought me my breakfast were unusually curt, and not only had they slammed the tray down, they also gave me a weird look while they did. It didn't seem like they were just being rude. It was more like they were in a hurry to get away. Regardless of why, it wasn't normal. Did something happen to me? No one, including Dr. Asakura, had come in to examine me. I continued to feel this sense of tension as the empty hours passed. A veteran-looking, middle-aged nurse came in to tell me to pack up my things. I sprang up, thinking I was finally being released, but when I began to get dressed, she told me that I could stay in my pajamas. Why? I don't understand. I picked up my bag and went out into the hallway. There was no one out there aside from a few nurses, making it eerily quiet. The doors to the other rooms were shut, and there wasn't a single patient walking around. I was also told to sit in a wheelchair, even though I could walk just fine. I must have been being moved to another room. I sat down in the wheelchair, but then realized it wasn't like a normal one. Once I was seated, a clear sheet was placed on a contraption above, forming a kind of guard. Its ridiculous construction made it feel like something out of this world. Something was definitely off. What the middle-aged nurse said next made no sense to my ears. You're being transferred to another hospital. You'll be riding in the ambulance now. Huh? I'm being transferred by ambulance? Hold on now, there was nothing wrong with me at all. No one would answer my questions. I was strapped into the chair and wheeled out of the hospital before I could protest. The ambulance was already waiting on the street. What actually caught my attention, though, was what the people around the ambulance were wearing. They were wearing gas masks and shiny suits that covered their entire bodies. What the hell? Was this some kind of sci-fi movie? One of them was speaking with the nurse and 2 or 3 others that seemed to belong to patient intake as they pushed my wheelchair. I was wheeled into the ambulance via a ramp and then secured inside. I think someone spoke to me to let me know that I was being moved to such and such hospital, but I couldn't hear him very well through his mask. I had so many questions, but I could feel the unusual tension in the air, so I kept my mouth shut. Besides, the way everyone was acting as if they didn't want to get near me made it feel like there was a literal wall around my body. The ambulance took off towards some unknown place. The fact that the siren wasn't on was the only thing somewhat reassuring me that I was just being moved and not that my condition had taken a turn for the worst. I wondered how long I'd been rocking around. It felt like we had driven pretty far. I was rolled out and I was taken from the ambulance. The sudden brightness made me squint my eyes. The surrounding landscape was nothing but mountains. There was so much sky above me that I could hear nothing but birds singing. We were somewhere in the countryside. Huh. Where was this? All I knew was that it was a hospital. Did I still have to be in a wheelchair? I was tired of being in this thing after all the shaking in the ambulance. My legs were stiff. I wanted to stretch. I was about to ask if I could when the wheelchair started being pushed towards the building. I was wheeled straight ahead into an elevator. There was no one in the first floor lobby or at the front desk. What a strange hospital. I thought I saw what looked like a security guard in the distance, but there didn't seem to be many patients here either. Why had I been transferred to such a remote location? As soon as we got out of the elevator, there was a huge door in front of me. After someone used something in their hand on the door, it slid open with a low mechanical groan. The door looked heavy and secure. It was also automatic, like something right out of a sci-fi movie set. There was another door like it at the end of the hall. 2 huge doors. Why did they need so much security? On the other side of the secure door was what looked to be a normal, clean, and welcoming hospital, which helped me relax a little. They finally stopped pushing me once we got to an open area and removed my cover. After flipping down the stoppers on the wheels and folding away the platform, they said something to me. As usual, their voices were muffled from behind their masks, but it sounded like they said I could get up. Ugh, I can finally stretch. You must be exhausted. The person who came out from the back was truly an angel in white. Or pink. Fairly certain she's pink. A woman so beautiful I had to repeatedly look her over from head to toe had appeared. Not only was her old-fashioned nurse outfit easy on the eyes, it accentuated her thighs peeking out from her short skirt. And her boobs. He's such a fucking dude, I swear to God. All my fatigue was blown away. My ambulance entourage had disappeared with the wheelchair at some point. It was then I noticed that those sci-fi doors had closed behind me.
遠いところから本当にお疲れ様でした。とりあえずこっちの椅子に座ろっか。
You must be tired after such a long trip. Why don't you have a seat over here? A sweet smell came wafting by every time she moved. She was kind, beautiful, and every part of her looked so soft. Was this heaven? I did as I was told in a daze and sat down on the sofa next to me.
それじゃあ、生年月日とお名前をフルネームでお願いします。
Now then, could you tell me your birth date and full name, please? I answered her as instructed. I had been asked the same thing over and over again since this all started. Were they trying to make sure that I was the right person?
はい、佐々木さん、ありがとうございます。あ、私は石本まどかと言います。よろしくね。
All right, Mr. Sasaki. Thank you. Oh, I'm Ishimoto Madoka, by the way. Nice to meet you. Madoka, huh? What a lovely lady.
ところでちょっと聞きたいんですけど、ここってどこですか？いきなりすぎて実はいろいろちゃんと分かってなくて。
Maybe you can answer my questions? Where am I? Everything happened so fast, I have no idea what's going on.
あら、そうなの？ごめんなさいね。ここは奥瀬山医科学研究センター附属病院。長いからみんな奥瀬山病院って呼ぶけどね。
Oh no, really? I'm so sorry about that. This is Okuseyama Institute of Medical Science Hospital. That's too long though, so everyone just calls it Okuseyama Hospital. Okuseyama Hospital. I can Japanese. Okuseyama. I wasn't familiar with the name with the name of the area, nor was I sure I had ever heard of it before. Just how far had they taken me?
今痛いところとか体調でおかしいなって思うところはある？
Are you in any pain right now or feeling anything out of the ordinary?
特にないっす。
Not really.
よかった。詳しい話は主治医の先生からしてもらうから、先生のところに案内しますね。
That's good. The attending physician will fill you in on all of the details, so I'll be taking you to him now. I followed Madoka from behind until we reached a door labeled examination room.
失礼します。
We're coming in. Madoka opened the door for me, so I went inside.
それじゃあ佐々木さん、また後でね。
I'll be seeing you later, Mr. Sasaki. I thought Madoka was going to come in as well, but she closed the door behind me instead. Huh? No more Madoka. Sad. A man dressed in white lazily turned around in his chair to face me. Dr. Daddy! I love him. He's not my favorite, but he's up there. I love this boy. This poor boy. I'm the attending physician, Shibusawa. He introduced himself curtly, completely opposite from the kind and gentle Madoka. He had the eyes of a reptile. I vaguely gathered from his white coat that he worked in the medical field, but with that gaudy printed shirt underneath, he looked more like a low-ranking mobster. This guy was my doctor? Seriously? This could be the worst first impression possible.
早速問診を始めるが、佐々木、何か覚えてることはあるか？
I'd like to start the examination as quickly as possible, but do you remember anything, Sasaki?
実はあんまりよく覚えてなくて、
Honestly, I don't remember much.
居酒屋でお酒飲んでたらだんだん気持ち悪くなって、寒いのに汗がブワーッと吹き出して、クラッと立ちくらみみたいになって。
After drinking at an izakaya, I started to feel sick. Then I started to sweat like crazy, even though I was freezing. And then I got dizzy when I tried to stand up.
もういい、わかった。
That's enough. I get the idea. He cut me off there. What a creep. What kind of doctor was he? He was totally different from Dr. Asakura. I had a bunch of questions about my transfer, but I had a feeling he wasn't going to answer any of them. Should a guy like this really be a doctor?
結論から言わせてもらう。お前の病名は進行性細胞変性症。
Let me cut to the chase. You have what's called progressive degenerative cell disease. The doctor's sudden and incomprehensible words left me staring at him, dumbstruck.
もう一回お願いします。
Come again?
進行性細胞変性症。キャンドル病の呼び方の方が一般に広く知れ渡ってるから、先生たちもそう呼ぶことが多いけどな。
Progressive degenerative cell disease. It's commonly known as candle disease, so most of the doctors here call it that too. Candle disease? I felt like I'd heard about that on the news. Maybe.
その名の通り、細胞が変性する病気だ。キャンドル病を発症すると、健康な細胞組織が突然変異を起こす。
As the name suggests, it's a disease that breaks down the cells. Once you contract candle disease, your healthy cell systems suddenly begin to mutate.
突然変異？
Suddenly mutate? I was barely able to chew on all of the information given to me before more was stuffed in my mouth. I was even starting to forget about how I felt towards this doctor's attitude. All I could do was repeat what he said, like an idiot.
医者を翻弄する奇病、神のいたずらとか言われてる。用語は極めて厳しいが、全力をもって治療に当たることを約束する。
It's often called a rare disease meant to mess with doctors and a prank from God. It's an especially harsh prognosis, but I promise to do everything in my power to treat you. I was doing my best to follow his every word, but all these terms outside of my comprehension were coming at me one after another, making my mind go blank. I was gripped with a strange anxiety that felt as though it was squeezing my head, my heart, and my stomach all at once.
俺、今細胞が変性してるんすか？どうなるんすか？
My cells are mutating. What's happening to them?
わからないというしかない。これと決まった症状はなく、患者によってバラバラなんだ。多く見られるのは妖怪か効果のどちらかだな。
All I know is that I don't know. This isn't a fixed condition and varies from patient to patient. What we mostly see is dissolution and sclerosis. Dissolution, sclerosis. What was that now? I desperately flipped through my mental dictionary. I was having a hard time following what the doctor was saying.
燃えて溶けたろうそくみたいになるか、ろうそくみたいに固まるかのどちらかが多いってことだ。だからキャンドル病なんだ。
Meaning, we mostly see the body deteriorate and harden, like a candle, hence the name candle disease. I no longer knew how to respond. Words like deteriorate and harden hardly sound biological. None of it felt real at all. What the hell kind of disease was this?
キャンドル病って なんで？
How did I get it?
キャンドル病の原因は未だ解明されていない。俺はあまり興味ないけどな。どうせ防ぐ方法なんて見つからん。
We're still not sure what causes candle disease. I'm not particularly interested in finding out either. It's not like we found a way to prevent it. He answered my next question. Also, what kind of doctor acts like he doesn't give a shit?
そうなんすか。
I see.
分かっているのは、キャンドル病は男にしか発症しないということ。それも大半が10代から20代の若い男だ。中には40歳前後で罹患した例もある。
All we know is that only men can get candle disease and that it's mostly young men in their teens and 20s, though there's also some cases of men in their 40s contracting it too.
染色体が関係しているのか、その理由は不明だが、男であるという条件を除けば何か特定の要素があって発症するわけじゃない。運が悪かったとしか言いようがないな。
It's unknown if it's something chromosomal, but other than it only affecting men, there's no specific factor involved in the contraction of the disease. The only thing I can think of is bad luck. Worst bedside manner ever. That wasn't something a doctor would say. I was getting more and more worried about this guy. Nevertheless, there was only one thing I wanted to know.
治るんすか？キャンドル病って。
Is candle disease curable?
現代の医学じゃ治療法は不明だ。今のところ特効薬は存在しない。
Current medical research has yet to find a cure. There's no effective medication as of yet.
そうなんすか。
I see. That was definitely not the answer I wanted to hear, and yet he gave it to me straight.
根本的に俺がキャンドル病の患者ってことが間違いってことはないんすか？俺すっごい元気っすよ。
Are you sure your diagnosis isn't some sort of mistake? I feel totally fine.
そう思いたい気持ちはわかるが、その可能性はゼロだ。前の病院でいろいろと検査をしたと思うが、
I can see why you'd want to think so, but there's a 0% chance of that. I believe your previous hospital ran all sorts of tests.
はい。
Yeah. Shibusawa fiddled with the computer in front of him, then pointed to something on the monitor. There was a bunch of numbers listed. According to the doctor, the number of toxins in my liver was way above normal, and that honestly, I should be dead. Someone in this condition normally wouldn't be able to get up and walk around or even eat. Jaundice, the yellowing of the whites of the eyes, made it easy to tell when the liver was going bad, but nothing about my physical appearance had changed. That must have been why Dr. Asakura had been so confused.
異常がないという異常。細胞の変性が起こる合図とでも言えばいいか。基地の病気に似た症状がほとんどだが、これはキャンドル病の典型的な前兆症状だ。
The fact that everything appears normal makes it abnormal. I suppose the only indication is the cell degeneration. The effects are similar to plenty of other known conditions, but these are the typical early symptoms of candle disease. Normal was abnormal? What? My head was spinning.
今後の治療方針についてはこれからカンファレンスにかけて決めるが、細胞変性抑制剤の投薬を計画してる。少しでも進行を遅らせることができれば希望はある。
I'll be deciding on a course of treatment after an upcoming conference, but for now, I plan on administering cytopathic inhibitors. Cytopathic inhibitors? As long as we can slow down the progression of the disease, there's hope.
はい。
Okay.
次にこの隔離病棟の説明をしておくぞ。
Next, I'll tell you about the isolation ward.
は？待って、隔離病棟？俺隔離されるんすか？ここから出られないんすか？
I forgot about Sota's little fangs. Oh, they're so fucking cute. Oh my god. Huh? Hold up. Isolation ward? I'm being quarantined? I won't be able to leave.
世間一般じゃキャンドル病は感染するとされてるからな。キャンドル病患者は隔離が原則だ。
Supposedly, candle disease is spread from person to person. Infected patients are generally quarantined.
世間一般って先生は違う考えなんすか？
From person to person. But you don't think so?
なあ、俺は感染しないと思ってる。あんな大げさな防護服、バカバカしい。
No, I don't think it's contagious. All that protective clothing, what a joke. The image of the ambulance staff in all of their strange clothing came to mind. I could be contagious, huh? Was that why they had to wear all that gear to get near me? Was that why I was taken to the middle of nowhere? Dr. Shibusawa didn't think that I was contagious, but the way the people at the other hospital and in the ambulance were acting, it seemed most people were under the impression that they could get infected. Still, Dr. Shibusawa seemed perfectly calm in front of me. He made no effort to prepare protective gear for himself. I had no idea what he was basing his opinion on, but he was probably pretty confident in his theory. This doctor might have been blunt, had a terrible personality, and was more than just a little sketchy, but I wanted to believe that he was just an eccentric genius. If he wasn't a genius that could treat me with some groundbreaking method, if that wasn't the case, didn't that mean I'd end up a goner?
それからこれは説明というよりお願いだな。俺とお前にとってはこっちが本題だ。
Now then, this is more of a request than an explanation. Between you and me, this is what I really wanted to talk about.
なんすか？
What is it? I was dragged here with barely any explanation, locked up in quarantine, and so I had a feeling whatever he was going to ask me was going to be just as shitty. I knew I shouldn't blame Dr. Shibusawa. I understood this was society's way of taking measures against the illness. But everything had been decided without my say, so what more could he possibly ask of me?
白山中央病院から事前に検査材料も送られてるんだが、お前がキャンドル病を発症していること以外に判明したことがある。
Shiroyama Central Hospital had sent over your test results ahead of time, but we're confirmed there are others there with candle disease. Jesus Christ, dogs. Let me pause for a second. Okay, waifu just arrived home. That's all that happened. Anyway. No way. They found other people who were sick. Enough already. This was way too much to handle.
お前の体内から特殊なサイトカインが見つ
All
か
these
った。
fucking words I can't
これ
pronounce.
は万能素子因子と名付けたが、
We found unique cytokines in your body. I've called them universal inhibitors.
もう一回言ってください。
One more time, please.
もうほんと何度も説明させんな。一発で頭に入れろ。万能素子因子。
How many times do I gotta repeat myself? Get it through your head already. Universal inhibitors.
それってなんかやばかったりするんすか？
That doesn't sound very good.
いや、日常生活には何の支障も問題もない。むしろ今日まで人一倍健康に生きてきただろ。
Nah, you've been living your life without any obstacles or issues. You've actually been healthier than most people up until now, right?
まあそうっすね。お医者さんにまともにかかったの今回が初めてな気はしてますね。
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've had to see doctors like this.
これは細胞の増殖や分化に関わる要素で、これ以上悪い細胞を成長させないように邪魔する力を持った人体の防衛システムの一種だ。
It's the component tied to the reproduction and differentiation of your cells and is a kind of defense system in your body that stops the bad cells from multiplying.
例えば、数百万人に一人の珍しい血液型なんかがあるだろう。お前は そのさらに激レア版、おそらく数億に一人いるかいないかの貴重な特異体質の持ち主ということだ。
It's like when out of hundreds of people, one of them has a rare blood type. You have an even rarer and valuable idiosyncrasy that perhaps only 1 in 100 million people have.
へえ。
Wow.
この万能素子因子が変性細胞の働きを阻害することが分かった。簡単に言えば、お前の体液がキャンドル病の特効薬になる可能性がある。
We know that those universal inhibitors obstruct the degeneration of cells. To put it simply, your bodily fluids could be used to make a revolutionary drug, one that might stop candle disease.
お前の体液を研究して新薬を開発できれば、キャンドル病の根絶も夢じゃないかもしれない。
If we can research your bodily fluids and develop a new medication, eradicating the illness might not just be a dream. What the hell? All that stuff about current medical research, not having a cure, dissolving and hardening, and all that other stuff meant to scare me, and then it turns out I'm my own cure? They can treat me no problem. In that case, I should be out of here in no time. I didn't know what to think when he threw candle disease at me all of a sudden, but I guess there was nothing to worry about after all. I looked death in the eyes and said, "Not today." Well, I didn't know exactly how to describe it, but either way, I might have been pretty awesome.
ただ、お前の万能素子因子には一つだけ欠点があってな。
There's only one
お前自身
downside
に
to,
は
oh my god.
全く効果がない。
There's only one downside to your universal inhibitors. They're completely ineffective on you.
は？
Eh?
お前は万能素子因子を持っているにもかかわらず発症した。つまり、お前には万能素子因子の有効性がない。
You have those inhibitors and still got the disease, so basically, they don't work on you.
実験でも、やはり万能素子因子がお前自身の変性細胞に影響を及ぼすことはなかった。もちろん、お前の治療法も並行して研究してはいくが。
Even after running experiments, your universal inhibitors had no effect on your own degenerating cells. I'll be treating you while I do my research, of course, but... Huh? Wait a sec. What is he saying? I was a miracle drug that didn't work on myself. My bud of hope had suddenly shriveled up and died.
お前には抑制剤による従来の治療を行っていくことになるが、他の患者にはお前の万能素子因子を摂取させたいと考えている。
We'll be giving you the usual treatment, but I'd like you to let me give your universal inhibitors to the other patients. What?
俺は内科医でもあり、研究部の人間でもある。新薬開発の基礎研究において、臨床試験は必要不可欠だからな。研究のため、治療のため、体液を提供してほしい。
I'm a physician. Physician? I'm a physician, but I'm also a researcher. In order to develop new pharmaceuticals, clinical trials are vital. I'd like you to donate your bodily fluids for my research, for a cure. Donate my bodily fluids. It doesn't even work on me, though. It to be help other people? It'd be to help other people. The more I thought about it, the less I could stomach it.
この話、俺には何一ついいことないっすよね。なんで俺が見知らぬ他人のために協力しなきゃいけないんですか？
Nothing you've said benefits me at all. Why should I have to help a bunch of strangers?
他人のために無償で協力してくれなんてざれ言を言うつもりはない。佐々木聡太、ギブアンドテイクだ。協力への見返りとして、お前に様々な特権を与えよう。
I'm not stupid enough to ask you to help others for free. It's give and take, Sasaki Sota. You'll be given special privileges in exchange for your cooperation.
特権
Special privileges? The doctor pulled out a single form from his desk and thrust it at me. It had contract of special privileges written on it in large letters. There was a bunch of small print crammed underneath. The form was filled with somewhat difficult language that took a lot of effort on my part to understand.
難しい書き方をしちゃいるが、病院側は可能な範囲で命令を聞く、望みを叶える。この隔離病棟内であれば何をしてもいいということが書いてある。
It's written in legalese, but it basically says that the hospital, within reason, will do whatever you ask, give you whatever you want, and as long as you're in the isolation ward, you can do whatever you want as well.
このフロアのどこへ立ち入るも構わんし、ここにあるものは好きに使っていい。俺も含めてな。
You can go anywhere on this floor and make use of anything you want here. That includes me. We'll get to that eventually.
ま、この隔離病棟から出せという希望だけは通してやれないけどな。俺に空を飛んでみせろとか言うのも無理だぞ。現実的な範囲で頼む。
Well, we can't let you out of quarantine, so don't bother asking. Don't expect me to fly out a window or anything either. Try to be realistic, please.
この病棟の中で王様になれる権利といえばわかりやすいか。
It might be easier to say that it gives you the right to become the king of this ward. The right to become king. That did have a nice ring to it. Even though it was limited to this ward, could I really do anything I wanted? Could they really get me anything I asked for?
体液の提供って痛かったり命に関わる危険とかってあります？
When you say donate bodily fluids, is it going to hurt or shorten my life in some way?
いや、万能素子因子は体液の中でも血液と精液に多く含まれるが、制限内でちまちま採血してたらはかどる研究もはかどらん。お前はただ精液を提供してくれるだけでいい。
Nah, most of those universal inhibitors are in your blood and semen. But if we only draw blood within the set limits, we'll never make any progress on my research, so you'll only have to donate semen.
は？正義？
Huh? Semen? Actually, it wouldn't be good if I didn't get proper treatment just because this was the part that I had a problem with. I couldn't really think of what I could possibly use my special privileges on, but I couldn't see a downside to having them either. Well, after weighing the pros and cons, I figured it was best to accept. I'd become king. I signed 2 forms. One was the official treatment consent form drawn up by Shiroyama Central, and the other was the contract of special privileges. I was now officially a patient of Kuseyama Hospital and a king with special privileges. And with that, we will get to that twist next time in part 2. I've already hit an hour, so I should probably chill out. I really like this game, so we will get to the crazy bullshit next episode. So yeah, look forward to that. And put your thoughts in the comments. I am excited to see them. Share, subscribe, do the things, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.